When it comes to getting a murder conviction, motives are like bodies. Very helpful to a case, but not mandatory. Prosecutors convict murder suspects all the time without knowing why the killer did it. And for more than 2 years now, it has looked like the quadruple murders at the University of Idaho may be another case in point. For all the evidence that we've seen in court papers so far, evidence that points to a suspect with the means and the opportunity to commit this horrendous crime, we've seen next to nothing about a motive, an alleged reason as to why Bryan Kohberger, who's charged with this, would want those 4 innocent kids dead in such a violent and bloody way. But now, with Kohberger's trial just 3 months away, there is one reporter who says he thinks he knows what prosecutors are planning to present in the way of motive. His name is Howard Blum, and his article appears in an online newsletter called Airmail. In it, Blum suggests that prosecutors think Kohberger went to monstrous and unthinkable extremes to impress a woman. And not just any woman, a woman you have seen on this program many times, Katherine Ramsland. Dr. Ramsland was one of Kohberger's professors back at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. When Bryan Kohberger earned a master's degree in criminal justice, it was at DeSales. Ramsland teaches forensic psychology and has written more than 50 books. According to the article, prosecutors are preparing to tell the jury, and I quote, "The pupil was ready to become the teacher. He'd kill and get away with it. He'd prove how smart he was. He would show how much he'd learned." The article also suggests that Dr. Ramsland and Kohberger stayed in touch after he left DeSales University and moved out west, that they emailed each other after the murders, and that Ramsland called Kohberger's mother after he was arrested. So what does Dr. Ramsland say about the story and all the details contained within it? Not quite. That's my summary. I'm joined now by my NewsNation colleague, Bryan Entin. Bryan, whenever there's a big Kohberger story that drops, people go bananas, the internet, lights on fire. But we've been burned on some of these before. So talk to me about how Dr. Ramsland is responding to Howard Blum's report.
Yeah, actually, we really have to be careful with some of these reports as we get closer to the trial, because Dr. Ramsland is saying that most of what is in this new report is just flat out not true. Now, of course, Dr. Ramsland was Bryan Kohberger's professor in Pennsylvania when he got his bachelor's. She was his forensic psychology professor. When he got his master's, she was his behavioral criminology professor. But in terms of this whole love story and the fact that they have been in communication, she says, just flat out wrong. Let me read you a statement that we got from Dr. Ramsland that really sums some of this up. She says, "I had no email correspondence with Bryan Kohberger while he was at WSU." So that right there, I mean, the article said she did. She says flat out no email correspondence with Bryan Kohberger while he was at WSU. He has not been in touch with me since his arrest. I called his parents as a gesture of kindness, but I do not advise them about the case. I did not call them hours after the arrest, as Blum claims. I have never talked to his sister about any book. That was something that came up in the article. I never mentioned Kierkegaard in my classes, another thing that came up in the article. I did not broker, which is a word that Blum used, anything regarding a lawyer. I have not been invited by the Kohbergers to Idaho. I don't know where they'll be staying. I don't know who Blum's source is or why he reports information for which he has no proof. So that's what she's saying. I think what stands out to me the most, Ashleigh, is she is flat out saying that she has had no email correspondence with Bryan Kohberger while he was at WSU and has not been in touch with him since the arrest, which Blum said literally the opposite in his article.
So obviously the next and natural question would be, is Howard Blum responding to Dr. Ramsland's very pointed statement?
Yes, I'm just going through my phone because he did tweet out today Katherine Ramsland has issued a statement about my recent piece. He says she confirms she reached out to BK's parents after arrest. She refutes that BK emailed her while at WSU, and then he says, "I apologize for that error." Again, that was a big part of the story. Katherine Ramsland states she didn't demand that BK parents get her approval before meeting PA lawyer. I never wrote that. Nevertheless, they did. There's a chapter on her student BK in her forthcoming book that we don't know. And then Katherine Ramsland states she never taught Kierkegaard in her class to BK. I never said she did. I think she missed the point of my reference. And then he says, I will stand by my hypothesis just as that, a theory. So what he's saying now is that really this is all just a theory that he has about what the motive is, not necessarily that he has any proof that this theory is actually true.
Eek. Boy, that's uncomfortable stuff. Well, we'll continue to watch, and obviously it'll all come out in the evidence, so we will know soon enough. There was a hearing. It was closed door, so clearly Bryan and I can't report on what it was, but I did ask some sources whether this was a plea hearing, possibility for a plea, and the source I have said absolutely 100% no. Bryan, thank you. Great news gathering. Really appreciate that.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.